The sun had just begun to rise over the ancient savanna, a land not yet ruled by man but by instinct, hunger, and survival. The air shimmered with the heat of a world still half-wild, where the horizon burned in shades of copper and blood orange. The year was somewhere in the unknowable span of 3.6 million years ago, long before written memory, when Homo habilis, the handy man, was beginning to carve his fragile place in a world of predators. The land trembled not with footsteps of armies or machines, but with herds of colossal beasts, the giant ostrich, Struthio oldoensis, towering at 3 meters tall, feathers glinting like black metal in the morning light, its eyes sharp and ancient. And beyond the tall grass, shadows prowled. The lion ancestor, a beast larger than any lion of the modern age, its mane rough and primitive, its jaw built for crushing bone. Between these two titans of survival, small and fragile yet cunning beyond measure, stood Homo habilis, neither beast nor god, but something new in the making. A male, lean and sinewed, crouched low beside a cracked termite mound. His name was lost to time. No words yet carried names, but the others in his small group followed his movements with the trust of survival. Around him, for others, 2 females, both scarred from old hunts, and 2 juveniles, their faces curious but alert. They were scavengers, toolmakers, opportunists who understood that the world did not offer food. It had to be taken, shaped, or stolen. In his hand, he clutched a chipped piece of volcanic stone, sharp along one edge, the result of 1,000 small blows. It was his invention, his weapon, and his hope. This tool was no mere rock, it was the beginning of human thought. The male sniffed the air. A faint metallic tang drifted across the plains. Blood. The promise of meat. Across the golden grasses, a carcass lay half-hidden, ribs glistening in the early sun. It was a small antelope, freshly brought down. But the killers had not gone far. The giant ostrich stood near, its head high, wings half spread, defending its fallen mate from the scavengers it knew would come. Its legs, each one a whip of muscle, could split bone or crush skull. To its left, crouched low and unseen but for the flicker of tail and glint of eyes, waited the lion ancestor, the first of its kind to learn patience. Its golden coat blended into the dry earth, and its breath came slow, controlled, predatory. The stage was set, the dawn's first contest, life against life. The Homo habilis leader gestured, a soft grunt, a flick of the wrist. The others fanned out, staying low. They were not hunters in the modern sense, but opportunists of the highest order, shaped by desperation. Each motion was cautious, calculated. Fear was their oldest teacher. The leader crept closer, step by step, feeling the grit of dust beneath his feet, smelling the weight of death and danger in the air. He watched the ostrich, the way its head tilted, scanning. One wrong move and it would strike, faster than thought. But the Homo habilis had something the others did not, the mind to plan. He raised the sharp stone, catching a reflection of the sun. The light flashed, startling the giant bird. It hissed, lowering its head, feathers rippling like blades. The male grunted, a signal. One female darted left, shouting a harsh call, not words, but meaning, to draw the bird's attention. The ostrich lunged, talons slashing, kicking up dust that turned gold in the light. The second female grabbed a stick, smoldering from last night's fire, and swung it in wide arcs. Fire, that strange and terrible ally, made beasts hesitate. The ostrich screamed, wings spreading wide as it retreated, uncertain. But from the grass, the lion ancestor moved, silent, deadly, and ancient as hunger itself. The Homo habilis did not see it at first, only the blur, the explosion of movement, the sound of weight crashing through dry stalks. The females screamed. One juvenile fell. The leader turned, eyes wide, heart pounding. The lion ancestor struck, claws tearing through the dust, jaws snapping shut just shy of the fallen young one. The leader lunged with the stone, not in bravery but in instinct, striking the beast's flank. The stone bit flesh, a shallow cut, but enough to shock. The predator roared, tail lashing, golden fur flashing with blood. For a heartbeat, all time froze. three species locked in an eternal equation of life and death. The ostrich, sensing weakness, charged again. The lion ancestor turned, torn between rivals. Dust and feathers filled the air, blood scent rising like a storm. The Homo habilis clung to survival, dragging the juvenile back, heart hammering like thunder in his chest. The ostrich's talons met the lion's shoulder with a sound like cracking bone. The predator roared, jaws clamping around the bird's wing, tearing feathers into the wind. The ground became a battlefield, ancient, brutal, pure. The Homo habilis group retreated behind a fallen log, watching the chaos unfold. This was their world. No mercy, no order. Only instinct and opportunity. The leader's breath came in ragged gasps. His mind, however, was alive, calculating, observing. He saw something new in the madness. How two giants could destroy each other. How chaos could become strategy. The concept of timing, of waiting for the right moment, flickered in his brain like lightning. The battle between the beasts ended in violence and exhaustion. The ostrich, bleeding from its side, stumbled away into the grass, its cries fading. The lion ancestor, panting and bloodied, remained by the carcass, too wounded to give chase. Its amber eyes dimmed with pain but burned with fury. It would live, but not today's fight. The Homo habilis leader watched, stone still in hand, mind racing. He waited. When the lion finally dragged itself into the shadows, the small band moved, slow, silent, reverent. They approached the carcass, the antelope torn, the earth soaked in blood. The females began to strip flesh with stone flakes, the juveniles gathered marrow-rich bones, and the leader stood watch, scanning the horizon. Above them, vultures circled, black dots in a crimson sky. The first feast of the day had begun, not of victory, but of survival. And as the sun climbed higher, painting the savanna in burning gold, a new truth dawned in the eyes of Homo habilis. The world belonged not to the strongest or the fastest, but to those who could observe, learn, and adapt. In that moment, standing in blood, dust, and light, humanity's first spark of strategy was born. The sun stood higher now, searing the land in a merciless white blaze. The scent of iron and rock clung to the air, heavy and thick, as flies gathered in black clouds above the torn carcass. The Homo habilis group feasted quickly, tearing soft flesh with flakes of stone, cracking bones to suck the marrow, the golden prize of ancient survival. Every bite was fuel against extinction, every moment of stillness a risk. Yet beneath their crude hunger lay something new, awareness. The leader watched not only the meat, but the silence that followed. The lion ancestor was gone, limping into the tall grass, but his scent lingered. The ostrich's tracks disappeared toward the distant riverbed. Still, nothing here stayed dead for long. The leader's dark eyes scanned the horizon, reading the earth as if it spoke. Broken reeds, movement. A thin echo, perhaps wind, or something else. In this world, everything that breathed was both hunter and prey. The females worked in rhythm, their stone tools clicking with a steady rhythm, a sound both ancient and mechanical, like the heartbeat of invention. Sparks of thought flickered behind their eyes. One of them, smaller but quick-minded, had discovered that striking two stones together produced sharper edges. Her hands moved instinctively, flaking obsidian from volcanic rock. Every strike echoed through the ages, the sound of the first craftsperson at work. She looked up at the leader, grunted softly, and handed him a new edge, brighter and deadlier. He understood without words. The tribe had no language yet, but communication pulsed through glance, gesture, and rhythm, a primitive symphony of survival. But the peace was short-lived. From beyond the plain came a sound, low, resonant, and deep as thunder. It was not the lion's growl. It was the collective roar of a hunt, a pride moving together. The lion ancestor was not alone. The leader froze, his nostrils flaring. He raised his arm, the signal for silence. All movement stopped. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. From the tree line emerged three shapes, golden and ghost-like in the glare. lionesses, smaller than the male but faster, hungrier, their ribs pressing against skin. They moved like shadows stitched from muscle. The Homo habilis leader made a decision, one born not of courage, but of calculation. He could not outrun predators. He could only outthink them. He gestured sharply, pointing toward the line of volcanic boulders half a field away. A cave mouth gaped in the rock like a wound in the earth. Shelter. The group gathered what meat they could, clutching bones and tools, and began the slow retreat. Every step was a gamble. The lionesses saw movement, heads lifting, nostrils twitching. Then the call. A deep, guttural cry, one that trembled the air. The hunt had begun. They ran not with speed, but with strategy. The leader pushed the juveniles ahead, grunting directions, weaving through grass and stone. Behind them, the lionesses surged forward, muscles rippling, tails whipping like whips of death. Dust exploded beneath their paws. The first female stumbled, dropping her stone tool. The leader turned back, shoving her forward, teeth bared not in anger, but in defiance. The cave loomed closer, dark and cool. One juvenile reached it first, diving inside, crying out, a sharp, fearful sound that echoed against stone walls. The first lioness lunged, claws scraping earth, jaws snapping inches from the leader's leg. He swung his sharp stone with all the strength his frail arm could summon. The edge bit into the predator's muzzle. Blood splattered his face, hot, real, terrifying. The beast roared, staggering back. But the second lioness came, her eyes fixed on the smallest of the group. The air burned with dust and panic. Then something changed, something that would echo across the millennia. One of the females, the same who had shaped the sharper stone, snatched a branch still glowing from the morning fire pit. She ran toward the beast, waving the ember wood like a blazing claw. Firelight reflected in her eyes. Wild, ancient, divine. The lioness halted, snarling, but uncertain. Fire. The one force no creature truly understood. The smoke bit the air, the heat licked the beast's fur, and instinct screamed retreat. The lioness backed away, hissing. The group seized the moment, retreating into the cave, dragging the flaming branch with them. Inside, darkness wrapped around them, thick, protective, ancient. The cave smelled of damp stone and ash. The juveniles huddled together, trembling, while the adults positioned themselves near the entrance, guarding with tools, stones, and fire. The flickering flame painted the walls in gold and black, dancing like living spirits. The leader stared into it, mesmerized. In that light, something stirred inside him. The fire was not just warmth or weapon, it was power, controllable, repeatable, sacred. A thought formed, primitive yet profound. They could command the night. Outside, the lions circled, their eyes glinting like coals in the dark. They prowled, paced, growled, but did not enter. The smoke and flame had drawn an invisible line between predator and prey. Inside, the Homo habilis watched, silent and wide-eyed. The fire crackled, embers snapping, shadows stretching across the cave walls. Long, distorted, almost human. The leader lifted a burning stick, touching it to another dry branch. The second caught flame. He grunted softly, a sound of triumph. The others understood. They had multiplied the light. Hours passed. The sun died beyond the horizon, replaced by a vast sky thick with stars, countless, cold, and eternal. The lions faded into the grasslands, their roars slowly fading into distant echoes. Inside the cave, the first humans sat in the red glow, their bellies full, their minds restless. The juveniles dozed, curled close to the adults, safe for the first time from the endless terror of night. The leader stared into the flame, eyes reflecting the fire's dance. Images began to form, not dreams, not yet stories, but memories replaying as shapes and movement. He saw the lion, the ostrich, the blood, the light. His hand moved toward the cave wall, tracing with soot and ash the curve of a beast's horn, the slash of a claw. It was crude, childlike, but it was meaning. The first echo of art, born not from beauty, but from survival. And so, within that hidden cave beneath a blood-red sky, Homo habilis became something more than animal. They had not just survived the day, they had learned from it. Fire was theirs. Tools were theirs. Memory was theirs. The dawn of thought flickered in the flame's heart. And outside, across the silent plains, the wind carried the scent of ash, the mark of a new force rising in the ancient world, humanity. Night blanketed the savanna like a vast, breathing creature. The stars shimmered, cold and sharp, scattered across the black dome of sky, ancient fires watching over the small tribe huddled within their cave. The air outside was alive with sound, the distant laughter of hyenas, the low moan of wind through dry grass, the rhythmic whisper of insects. Yet within the cave, all was still, save for the crackle of fire. The orange glow pulsed against the rough stone walls, breathing warmth into the chill darkness. It painted the faces of Homo habilis, creatures still bound to the earth, yet standing on the first rung of something new, something vast. The leader sat near the entrance, the smoldering stick in his hand, now little more than glowing embers. His eyes were half-lidded, weary, but not asleep. The world outside had changed for him. He could feel it, a shift as deep as the roots of the mountains. He listened to the breathing of his group, slow, safe, alive. He had led them through death and fire, through blood and fear, and somehow they had endured. But endurance was no longer enough. Something stirred in the quiet space behind his thoughts, a hunger deeper than food. It was the desire to understand. He stared into the fire and saw patterns there. The dance of flame resembling the sweep of grass in the wind, the flicker like the eyes of the lion ancestor. His mind began to connect them, weaving the first fragile threads of comprehension. The flame was movement, light, power, but also fragile, needing care. He fed it gently with dry sticks, learning by watching, his actions instinctive yet deliberate. For the first time in the long history of life, a creature did not merely exist within nature, he studied it. Outside, the predators still prowled. A dark shape lingered on the horizon, the wounded lion ancestor, scarred and limping, but alive. It moved with slow grace, its golden coat gleaming faintly in the starlight. It had lost the hunt, but not its dignity. The Homo habilis leader rose, peering through the shadows. He could see the lion watching him from afar, two pairs of eyes meeting across time. Neither moved. The lion had strength, the human had thought. Two masters of different worlds, bound by the same will to survive. The lion turned at last, vanishing into the grasses. The leader watched until the movement disappeared completely, then lowered his gaze. In that moment, something subtle passed between them. Not peace, not kinship, but a silent acknowledgement. Light. Their skin gleamed with sweat and ash, their eyes still wide with the memory of fire. They were few, fragile, and small against the endless land, but they carried something no beast did: memory. The group began to move toward the river. They walked not as wanderers but as survivors, guided by something new: purpose. The females carried sharpened stones and smoldering embers wrapped in dry leaves, the first transport of fire in human history. The juveniles mimicked them, learning through imitation, their small minds soaking in every motion. They passed bones stripped clean, footprints baked into the mud, feathers from the ostrich scattered like fallen stars. The world was still dangerous, but less mysterious. Knowledge had begun to carve its path through fear. When they reached the riverbank, they knelt to drink. The water was cool, clear, filled with the reflection of morning. The leader watched his own image, a face not quite human, yet no longer animal. His brow was heavy, his eyes deep-set, but within them burned a light unseen in any other creature. He dipped his hand into the water, splashing it onto the embers he carried, watching the steam curl upward. His mind connected things unseen: heat, water, smoke, life. These were not separate now, but pieces of one great puzzle. He did not yet have words, but he had comprehension. Suddenly, a shadow passed across the river, the unmistakable silhouette of wings. The giant ostrich had returned, drawn by the glint of water and the movements below. It stepped from the reeds, enormous and majestic, feathers gleaming in sunlight. The tribe froze. The juveniles clung to their mothers, the adults raised their stones. The bird tilted its head, its black eyes intelligent, almost curious. It gave a low hiss, testing their resolve. The leader stood tall, gripping his sharp stone, but something within him hesitated. He remembered the chaos of yesterday, the blood, the fear, the fire. This time, he did not charge. He simply lifted the burning stick, now reignited from the embers, and waved it slowly. The ostrich recoiled, feathers puffing. The light of fire, once an accident, had become a weapon of will. The bird retreated, striding back into the tall grass. The Homo habilis did not chase it. They had already won something greater. The leader turned to his tribe, grunting softly, not words, but a tone of unity. The females answered, voices blending in a low, rhythmic hum. The beginning of sound used not for warning, but for connection. It was crude, yet beautiful, the embryo of language. As the day climbed high and the savanna shimmered once more, the small tribe found shade beneath an acacia tree. The leader sat apart, flaking stone into sharper edges. Each strike echoed faintly through the still air. Nearby, one of the juveniles imitated his movements, clumsy but eager. A smile, or the first version of it, ghosted across the leader's face. Knowledge, he realized, could be passed on. It could outlive him. It was the only thing that could. Far beyond, over the rolling grasslands, the lion ancestor limped toward its own territory. It would heal, it would hunt again, but its dominance was fading. The beasts of the world still ruled the body, but a new kind of predator, fragile, clever, relentless, was rising to rule the mind. The sky above burned white, and the world turned, indifferent but alive. As night fell again and the stars returned, the small tribe gathered once more around their fire. The leader stared into its heart, a dance of gold and red, endless and eternal. He saw in it all that had happened, the hunt, the fear, the triumph, the flame. He grunted softly, and one of the juveniles responded with the same sound, repeating it. The leader's eyes widened, recognition. The sound had meaning now. And there, in that cave beneath the boundless sky, 3.6 million years ago, the first seed of civilization was planted, not in stone or metal, but in firelight and memory. From that spark would rise everything: tools, art, stories, empires, and dreams. The world had changed forever. The beasts would rule the plains for a time, but humanity had claimed the night, and from that night, they would never again surrender the dawn.